Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome.
Last night a DJ saved my life. No, your voice is very, very radio, isn't it? I mean, you've got the ultimate in what people want to listen to. A nice, deep, rugged, sexy voice.
I don't know.
Well, I'm telling you.
No, I understand. What I mean is that my voice sounds different to me than it does to you.
Of course.
No, I mean even in my headphones and when I hear it. There's three different voices that I hear. I hear what I hear right now, like we're doing this, through the headphones. I hear my voice when I have recorded it and I hear the playback.
Yes, it's different to what it sounds like
and
when
you're
I'm
talking,
it.
you hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
well, I hear what it sounds like when it's playing back on a recording. That's
right.
The part that I'm hearing.
Right. Now, see, now I can also go, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
And
you'd be you'd be on a 1-800 number.
Yeah. Do they still have those? I think that was so 90s.
What were you doing it back then?
A 9767664.
So I always thought it would be good to have be one of those people that has sex with you over the phone, right?
Ooh.
To do it for like a minute or two. It would be funny as a concept.
I'm sorry,
to do
that's
that.
all I did, a minute.
Well, that's all I've got.
Okay.
But if you did that, you would just become a voice and you would just get into an acting role, and it would be money to earn really easily because you'd be in your bedroom at home. You're not integrating with anyone.
No.
You're not seeing anyone. I considered doing it, and I said, you know what, no, but I thought we'd be quite good at that.
Actually, one of the people I work with on the DJing thing, they own one of the places that I DJ at. That person actually was a phone sex person at
I think you could be very good at it. I think if you took it seriously as a profession, you could perfect it.
Yeah, she was
and it
very
doesn't affect your reality because you're just on the phone with someone. This is a nobody to you. There's nothing.
Yeah, you have no clue.
Nothing. This is a computer. It's nothing. Yeah. And you're just having a fun back here and... Yeah,
you're just saying sexy things or whatever.
You could just live out whatever you wanted.
And that's it. Or prefer. Of course, you might get somebody that wants you to be a role playing or something of that nature, where you.
I don't know if I could get into that. I don't have to be. You see.
Yeah, it's not necessarily always.
A
straight
fantasy.
Up.
Yes,
yes.
Some
people
it's a bit
want
icky.
things, but.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I'm not quite sure why we're talking about.
I'm not either. Oh, because of my sexy voice.
Yes, there we go. Oh my God! Can you trill? That was.
I'm sorry. What is that?
That was a purr. Can you trill?
What is a trill?
No, that's in your throat. This is in your tongue down to the top of your mouth. Yeah, it's a tiny bit you did it. Yeah, that's a more trill. Yeah.
I don't know. That's the first time I've ever done any of that.
Okay, Cardi B trills really well.
Okay.
Listen to Cardi B and listen to her trill, and then you can get what trilling is.
Now I can do the. It's been years, but I can do the old elephant. That goes way back to the early 80s.
Well, I should... No, that one is too much. You have to keep that to yourself.
I'm sorry.
It's very real, though. I did get it when I heard... I'm like, it wasn't glamorous. There was nothing nice in it. It was just an elephant.
It was just an elephant. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is. Yeah, it was, like I said, everybody back in the old days, they'd all... that was it, So it was one of those things. So anyway, with all that being said, and the sexy voice stuff, and the fun things that we've just discussed.
It's not that sexy. You mentioned it 3 times. It's marginally sexy.
Oh, now I'm marginally sexy. I've gone from that deep, sexy voice to marginally
Well, it's because you kept
sexy.
talking about it. It got the more you talked about it, the less sexy it
Okay,
got.
I will not disagree with that, okay? I have been known to...
Overemphasize.
Yeah, I guess that would be good.
Me too, darling.
Oh, goodness. So, I got a couple of quick questions for you, and they're not direct questions.
Well, don't make them too quick.
Oh,
That's trilling.
are you serious?
No, I'm serious. No, it wasn't. But it was.
I was gonna say, I could almost do that one.
That was trilling on the outside. The trilling's on the inside of the tongue. But you kind of had. Yeah, it's kind of up there.
Yeah, okay. I'll work on that
Now
for
we're
you.
back to Cardi B trilling. We should. Okay, Cardi B is going to come back, and you've got to listen to Cardi B.
Okay.
And then we'll reconnect on this.
Yeah,
conversation.
absolutely. And that means, again, subscribe so that you can follow us when we come back with the Cardi B show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
Trilling.
be interesting. Trust me, it will be
Bird-like
interesting.
sounding.
Because I'm going to learn how to trill.
And you're talking a big game. I hope you can pull it off.
Yeah, me too. Oh, goodness. So, I'm not sure that our viewers realize that you've written several books, actually, not just one, but quite a few. And you've got some interesting concepts in your writing. And the one I'd like to talk about right now would be the Starside Prophecies.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Novel.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about
Well,
that?
you have to be more specific. You're going to have to. There's so much in it. I mean, where do I begin?
Well, that's a good question. Where do you want to begin? How did you come up with the idea of doing it?
Well, I woke up with the idea of a karmic dispenser. Her name was Gwendolyn, and I woke up with a character. At that point, oh my God, sorry guys, I got distracted. Just as I was talking to you about that, out the window over here was a beautiful guy on a big kite thing.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, it just came right there. So it was really distracting. So Gwendolyn was a character that I came up with, and I didn't realise I was going to write a novel until I had this character in my head, and I had to base everything around Gwendolyn. And she's a karmic dispenser, and she comes back to Earth to dispense karma, because if you didn't have a karmic dispenser, you would be living on a planet which is a never-ending rotation of hell, because the same thing would have to happen again. And that's how I got into the whole thing. Just woke up and was like, "Whoa, you ain't in Kansas anymore, Sarah."
You had her kind of sort of flushed out, in essence, with the idea of what that character was going to be,
yes.
And then you built the rest of it around that.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, she's my alter ego, I think, to some degree. I think all the characters in the book are my alter ego to some degree.
And that actually could very well be, because, I mean, if we've been here more than once, you could have played every character that's in your book in reality.
Probably bloody have.
You know,
Christ,
I mean, that's why I have read the book, and the characters are so deep and so rich in each one of them that I could very much believe that you were each one of those characters.
Wow, that's very interesting. I actually hadn't considered that so deeply, but you might be right. Jesus, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm going to wake up. No, you might be right.
I'm keeping you up at night. I hope there's nothing serious about this condition keeping you up at night.
I believe everything happens for a reason, so I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'll understand it on the back end.
Yes, absolutely. How's the old saying go? I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, God.
Yeah,
But sleep when you're alive, though.
Yeah, you know, it happens that way. So you came up with the idea of this karmic dispenser. How? I mean,
I don't know.
Were you sleeping or?
Yes. I don't know how either. Okay, so I had no idea. It was in 2012, which is that whole Mayan calendar year thing. And we're doing all that bullshit.
Okay. Up. Well, no, wait a minute. Hold on. It's not just it was the time of change. Change.
So this is when this character came up. The Mayan calendar, I think, was the 21st of December.
December 21st.
This was on the 13th.
Wow.
And I woke up on the 13th with this concept, and I'm like, what the fuck?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So literally 8 days from the end of the Mayan calendar.
Yes.
And the Mayan calendar, basically, I mean, a lot of us remember, everybody worrying about 2012 and stuff like that. But the fact that you come up with the concept.
I didn't come up with it though, Frank, because I went to bed and I woke up with it.
I'm sorry.
So this is now implanted in my
Yeah.
brain. So the sound of silence at the end of the sound
Yeah.
is planted in my brain, and it's just a download. So you weren't thinking about this. You had nothing to do with it, and then all of a sudden you've got this high concept character implanted in your head after a night's sleep.
And that's what I mean. It's like you see the whole thing as a video or whatever in your head.
Yes.
Because you know who this whole thing is.
Know what she looks like, what she's
everything.
doing, how she's dressed, her attitude, everything.
That I mean, all the way down to the
Everything.
The color of her toenails.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that is really
toenails.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that is really absolutely cool.
Yeah, but that was so characters just came. That's how they just arrived.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then you flush the rest of the story out from what she
I had to.
did.
I didn't even flush the story out because I hadn't got a story. I just woken up with her.
Oh, right.
I just woke up with this concept of a character. I had no story. So I had to put her in the story, and that's when I decided to weave my memoir around it. So then I put myself in the story. So I'm now, and I could lay that out really quickly because I knew I had to write a novel because I had 30 days to write a novel. So I did 3,000 words a day.
Okay, wait, back up. Did you put this timeline on yourself?
Yes,
or?
well, I had 30 days to enter the Amazon Breakthrough Novel Award, which was that year. I had to get a manuscript together, and when I found out about the award, I had 30 days to haul ass.
Okay, so you're a month. I'm going backwards just a little bit. At 6 weeks, you had no idea about this award or anything. On the 13th of December, you get this idea. At that point, you have 30 days left to do.
Yes, because I knew about the award, but I had no concept of what that was.
Yeah, you were thinking about writing.
Wasn't even thinking about writing. I had written a lot of non-fiction, but now I get this concept, and now I'm locked into sending this to Amazon in 30 days.
Wow, that's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah.
How the process of that happens. I've always wondered how people come up with the ideas or their concepts.
Well, you've got to sit in front of your computer. So I had to do 3,000 words a day, and they had to be printable, readable, coherent words.
Yeah, that's not easy. You don't stop and think about it. 3,000 words is a lot.
It's not that difficult. It's actually easy. It doesn't take you that long. Yes, to do 3,000 printable words, if you're focused, really focused, it's like maybe 3 hours. But you've got to be highly focused.
Yeah,
now, if you're
go.
not, you're still going to get a loose concept of what you're doing.
Right.
So you can come back
always
on the
tighten it
editing.
up.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I was going to ask the question, how long did it take you? But we know that
30 days, 90,000 words. Yeah. But it went through so many revolutions. I mean, that was such a loose concept. But it established the fact that this is what I was doing. I was going to be writing this novel. So I wasn't even close to winning or even being taken seriously because it wasn't tight. But what I had after that 30 days, okay, now this is your trajectory, Sarah. This is what you're going to call me. So I'd only written about the nature of reality in non-fiction format. So now I was going to be called to write it in a fictional format. Now is my great novel, which I liken to doing a fucking PhD, by the way, because if you can get a novel as tight as this, it's just like a PhD. Because you've really tightened up concepts. And,
Yes, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, again, if you haven't read the book, you definitely need to read the book. And we'll give you the information as to where you can get it on either Amazon or order the hard copy of the book. That's not a problem with that. But some of the concepts that you talk about in the book, one of them being, of course, the karmic dispenser. I'm going to bring up a character, Sal.
Oh yes.
Tell us just a little bit about Sal and what. Just for the people who haven't any idea, Sal is kind of sort of this restaurateur who is in Starside, which is
heaven.
That's a great way to explain it. Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about Sal and
Okay,
his
so
job.
Salvatore is my husband's uncle. So he died in the year 2000, but I loved Uncle Sal, and my kids loved him. So he was an Italian, and he loved to cook, and he talked about meatballs, and he was just who inspired this character. And I'd actually written about him in it just about a page, and that was in Is This the Best God Could Do? So he was an old Italian guy with white hair, white mop of hair. And so that was just my husband's uncle, who was very close to me. And then I wanted to create a character that had been everything. There's just nothing he hasn't done. So when he has compassion, he's not a hypocrite. He has no judgment because he's done it himself. So
Been there, done that kind of thing.
Yeah, so he's been everything. A rapist, a murderer, a philanderer, a thief. He's done it because he's been through every incarnation there is on the good and dark side. So he's now equipped to realign your energy because he's done it himself.
And what does that mean by realign your energy?
Realigning the energy, so Salvatore in the book, he deals with the souls that have gone too far. They've gone off their life plan and now they're wheeling havoc on the planet. So he has to bring them back starside and has to realign their energy because now they're considered too far gone. They're just so misaligned. So he brings them back. They then have to come back and experience all the things that they did on the planet, and then they can go forth. But it's when you go too far, it's a karmic realignment.
Interesting.
You've basically reverted to an animal state and you're taken out of it.
Okay. All right, we're back live with Sarah Terry. She's the author of the book Starside Prophecies, which is an absolutely
No, darling, it's not Starside Prophecies, it's the Starside Prophecy. There's only one prophecy, and I'm creating it.
Explain that to us, because I was under the impression it said Starside Prophecies.
No.
It's just one prophecy.
Yes. The prophecy. The Starside Prophecy is that you'll get heaven on earth if you understand the laws that dictate your environment. Once you understand those laws, you then become a god on this planet because you are completely free to do what you want with your mind. You're going to go up in vibration and you'll now manifest the life that you want. So the Starside Prophecy is the novel that talks about manifesting the life that you want. But then came the mirror world, and that was the one that which talks about it being an analogy to being in a computer virtual reality.
Right. Okay, yes.
So they're all dealing with the same theme. But the nature of this existence is we're creating it with our minds here and now. You and I are creating reality.
Yes, we are creating reality and video and podcast. But the fact of the matter is none of this actually existed 6 months ago.
No.
Okay, it all came from the creation of our minds getting together and talking about it and making it happen.
Yeah.
And so yes, therefore that is exactly what you're talking about in the book, is that we create our own reality. And reality is we're sitting here in front of
Beach, baby.
in front of cameras with lights, with a caster and microphones in our hands, and we're doing this right this very minute in the middle of May 2023, and here we are. So because like I said, 6 months ago we didn't even know each other really.
No, we were familiar with each other, but no, we didn't.
We were new to each other.
We're only getting to know each other now on this podcast.
Yeah, that's true too.
We spoke a few times, but not many.
Yeah, but I mean, literally in the beginning of the year, I mean, we knew who each other was, but we never even talked, so that's the power.
But you've read my book. So you kind of knew me, but I didn't know you.
Yes, that's true. That is absolutely true. I did read your book, and again, is an extremely exciting book to read. You got to get it. It's on Amazon, and we'll tell you how to order it.
So one of the things that we said off camera was, I don't know, maybe on camera,
Yeah.
but we were talking about that I am the characters in my book.
Yes.
But I didn't realise that until very recently.
Yeah.
So this is all, every time you write a character, is it part of you or not? So, I mean, I write about the Count. I mean, that fucking
Right.
guy was, you know, so I
Yeah,
hope that's not part of it.
Yeah, that's true. There's absolutely no doubt about that. He to put it lightly, is a character.
Yes.
You know,
yeah, he's
I
a bad
mean,
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's interesting, and yeah, I mean,
I came across, it actually is not a part of me at all. I came across him in real life, and I don't want to talk about the circumstances of that, but we can talk about it. But I've never met him, but I've conversed with him, and yeah, and he revealed his life and who he was, and it was. But he said it was a dream, so you don't know what they're talking about. So
yeah, but your
who
dream,
knows?
some people's dreams are, I mean, from my understanding, and I'm no theologian or anything like that, but I understand that dreams are our pathway to the next level in a way, or the realm of the information, as it were, because they talk about that everything that has ever happened is recorded in
The
the Akashic Records. Yeah. So I mean, that dream state helps us sometimes.
Well, it's
get
already there in the program, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's already there.
Yeah.
Nothing that exists is not. It's already there. Every single script that could be imaginable is already there.
And they're at
It's mind-blowing.
our fingertips, but we again have to learn how to.
Well, the how-to is asking and accessing in your imaginal realm. So you ask and thou shalt receive. And so I think a good question to ask is, what's my vision for the future? What's my purpose in life? Have a vision of what you think that looks like.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Back up and say that again so that people understand what you just said about asking specifically how to.
Well,
make
if you're
that work.
stuck, okay, if you're stuck in life and you're not sure of what the fuck is going on, the good thing to do is ask a question and assume there's a transcendental reality. Assume there's a God. Assume that you're talking to someone.
Okay.
Ask and thou shalt receive.
Yeah.
What is my purpose? Killer question. I mean, that is next level, because now you can relax and the universe will talk to you. So you've got to be very specific about the questions that you ask.
How do you understand the answers?
Well, God's going to understand you, isn't he? Because he's interfaced with you. He'll know how to reach you.
Okay, I can say only because of skeptics.
But anyway,
and
let's
stuff.
go on to-
How would you see that, or how would you
Well, a
know that?
skeptic is not going to understand, and unless they can have this as lived experience for themselves, you're not going to be able to convince them of anything. They're just going to be skeptics. They're just
I
gonna
agree
say,
with that.
So fuck them at that point. So for the non-skeptics,
Okay, that's fine.
So if you're creating realities, so ask and thou shalt receive. I think ask what your purpose is, and then understand what the imagination is for. The imagination is your data bank to fucking doing anything you want with your mind. You can go anywhere and think about anything. But that is now
all of a
bringing
sudden,
into
when I had
reality.
a brilliant idea, even though I didn't realize where it came from, that's where it came from. That's interesting. That's an interesting way of looking at it.
It's all there in the quantum field. We're just accessing it, right? Everything is already there. We're just on this side of it. And then, so how do you pull out that reality and then transpose it over your life? That's what we're doing here, because we're just the player in this video game. And we're the observer of it. So the observer now controls his thoughts, aligns his reality to his vision, which is the imagination, asks for the purpose, and then stays in alignment. And then the whole video game opens up.
Damn, that sounds like a lot.
It is a lot, but it's quite easy to do if you can just remain focused. It's just focus.